agree with the point around artificialness of people's lifestyles, right? I wouldn't say everybody in social media necessarily has that kind of I don't know mindset of being basically, how do we put it, artificial. But what we are saying is that actually a lot of individuals out there are taking the best snapshots of their life in the best possible angles that they can, right? So just because everybody is all smiles in social media doesn't mean to say that they're living a better life than you are. That, I think, is the big problem when you have this kind of endless pursuit for feeling that sense of lack. So, everybody, human beings are kind of like this. Is I don't know which book it was, but human beings are kind of naturally built to kind of feel a sense of lack, that no matter what they have, they always feel like there is something more to pursue. And I think if that's done in an artificial way, then that pursuit is a bottomless pit, right? There's no sense of achievement or success will necessarily satisfy you internally. So I think there's a part of me that thinks that having more gratitude in your life for the things that you have, rather than tipping the scales to wanting more, is a more kind of balanced and healthy way of looking at things. And it's that I mean, this is a kind of question as well, isn't it? In my mind, at least, how do you balance between wanting more and being grateful for what you have?
Good question. I think there is no such thing as balance in life. To become the best at anything, you need to have this level of obsession within yourself, and you need to be that person who is so driven, and you need to make those sacrifices. Unfortunately, the people who are around you may feel they feel the brunt of you being that driven person. But if they really love you, they'll stand by you. But then there's a part of you that you lose yourself in the pursuit of achieving huge things. And
Yeah.
that's when the mental health issue comes in, doesn't it? Because you think to yourself, why am I doing this? What is it for? Is it for the benefit of my kids and my children? But then your children start to grow older. Before you know it, in a blink of an eye, from an infant, they start to become a toddler. And then the toddler becomes a 5, 6 year old, and the 5, 6 year old becomes a 9 year old with attitude. And the 9 year old becomes going into high school who says, Dad, I don't know you. And this is out for all those dads out there. I feel for you guys, man. We're all dads in one way or the other. We're always supporting our kids, and it's difficult because a lot of people think, oh, being a man is an easy life. It's not. It's difficult. You're in that crossroad. You're getting squeezed all the time, where you're thinking to yourself, I've got to make it for my family, but I need to spend more time with family, and it's this double-edged sword. I can't find a way unless somebody out there in the comment section can tell me there's a way out of it where you can actually do both. I find it so difficult. What do you think, Isaac? It's just being in that. It's like seeing a gerbil in its whale running, and it's not getting anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Just because you're running on the spot doesn't mean you're making progress, does it? So that's how I see it at times.
And that's what it's like. You liken it to being a dad. I'm sure it's equal to everybody in society. But yeah, you're on this treadmill where you're working harder. You feel like you're pacing yourself, but you're no longer pacing yourself. You're just working yourself to the ground, and yet you're still stood in the same place. You gave the analogy of being a father and how quickly kids grow. Yeah, 1 minute you're in the maternity ward of a hospital, and next minute it's people are talking about grandkids, and time really is precious. You spoke about the impact of mental health. People people are focused on their careers. People are focused on trying to achieve so much. But I guess there's a follow-on question to this, isn't there? And that's, are we as a society becoming more selfish? Is it becoming more about me, or me, I, and myself than it used to be? Because I don't know about you guys, but when I think about society back when we were kids, it felt like people knew each other. People would make food, share food, would go visit each other. We're not just talking cousins, relatives. We're talking about neighbours within the community. Whereas you just don't see that anymore. I know where I live, it's like people here just keep themselves to themselves. I've heard of one family that moved on with tenants to one of their close friends' properties next door. Guys moved in, and it became a bit of a drug farm in terms of people smoking, not in terms of them growing stuff. And they were talking about how they went to this family and told them, listen, we go back years. Can you not sort your tenants out? And it became clear that the family's focus was solely on getting that rental income. Back in the day, that wasn't happened. Back in the day, A had a problem, B, C, and all the way to Z would take care of that person and come out to support them. But you just don't see that anymore. Just look at parking. Look at how bad parking has become. People being selfish with their parking, blocking cars in, all sorts. the world is becoming a me society.
Prime example, you're right there. Like the other day, I parked my vehicle, and granted, it was slightly awkward, but I had to rush in, and I rushed in to put some. I had some food I had to give in, so I came back out, and my bell went ring, 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 and the guy was just belling, like constant ring, 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 to the point I nearly lost it. And I walked out, and he seen it, and goes, "Oh, can you move your car? You parked it awkwardly." And I said, "Look, I acknowledge, I understand I parked it awkwardly. However, there's a way of speaking to me. Do you understand? I parked it. Okay, I'll move it." So I moved it. And just to cut the beef, I just parked it out on the street. I said, "You know what? I just cannot be asked with this person," because I thought maybe he's having a hard day. I'm not going to lash out on him. Maybe he wants me to lash out so he can feel as though he can have a go at me. But I just didn't give him time of day. But you're right. People have become selfish. It's all the social media. I blame social media for that, Rin, because what you're doing is you're trying to chase something which is not there, and you at the expense of making meaningful relationships with people. When we were young, you're right, we knew the whole street. I would go out and I know everybody. Now I look at people and I think, who are you? And how long you been living here? I made a conversation with him. He goes, "Oh, brother, I've been living here for 6 years." I said, 6 years? Where have I been, under the rock or something? Do you know what I mean? He goes, "I've never seen you." I go, "And I never seen you either. It was just a random summer's day conversation type of thing." Granted, it wasn't summer, it was just days ago. But the point is, people are coming and going, and you think to yourself, am I living in an environment where it's from the outlook, the outlook of myself, I said heavily Asian area and all you Asians know each other. No, we don't. We don't know nobody now, mate. We don't know Adam. We don't know Sarah. We don't know nobody, mate. That's how it is. So for those people looking outside thinking, yeah, all these Asians are living together in a certain way and they know each other. Well, just because we share the same skin tone, or we may share the same surname and we're not related, because I hate that when they say, "Are you related to that Ali down the road?" No, I'm not, mate. No, I'm not. The point is,
Who
it's
says
not the
that,
same.
man?
It's not the same.
You know what? It's interesting you said that, because I was going to do a presentation and I had a guest speaker that's coming in. The guest speaker is also called Mahmood. And I know the minute we be in the same meeting, people will turn around, "Are you guys related?" And maybe this takes us out of what we were talking about.
But it's so ignorant, though, isn't it? It's so racially. It's ignorant to say just because we share the same name, we're related. Would you ever think a Smith and a Smith are related? You wouldn't, would you?
It's an unconscious bias, isn't it? It's like, well, some people call it unconscious bias, some people call it.
I sometimes play along with it. Yeah, we're related, man. He's my dad's brother's nephew. Turn around.